You have searched for a key to a door you believed was locked. You have sought a power you thought was separate from yourself. This audiobook reveals the truth that has remained hidden in plain sight. The universe is not something you petition. It is something you command. The power to reshape your reality lies not in a method or a secret, but in a hidden switch within your own consciousness. A switch that moves you from asking to being, from hoping to knowing. This is the moment you were summoned for, the moment you remember how to flip that switch and claim the reality that has always been yours. The hidden switch. Introduction. In the silent chambers of your being, an ancient knowing stirs a truth so fundamental it has been overlooked for millennia. You have sought power in ancient texts, whispered secrets and complex rituals, believing that the key to commanding your reality lies somewhere outside of yourself. You have practiced affirmations until your voice was hoarse, visualized until your mind was weary, and waited for signs that never seemed to arrive yet. The universe remained a distant, unyielding force. This is because you have been trying to turn a key in a lock that was never there. The greatest illusion is the belief in your separation from the creative force of the cosmos. You are not a supplicant begging for favor. You are the very intelligence from which reality springs, expressing itself in human form. The power you seek is not something to be acquired. It is something to be remembered. This audiobook is not a collection of new techniques. It is a revelation, a journey back to the source of your own creative authority. Within these chapters, you will discover the hidden switch, a fulcrum point in your consciousness that shifts you from the paradigm of effort to the reality of command. This is not a metaphor, but a tangible shift in your energetic signature, from the frequency of seeking to the vibration of having. When you flip this switch, doubt dissolves, resistance melts away, and the universe rearranges itself to match your inner certainty. No longer will you chase after your desires, for you will have become the very energy that attracts them naturally and effortlessly. The masters, mystics, and sages of old did not possess a secret you lack. They simply understood the location of this hidden switch. They knew that reality is not fixed, but fluid, responding instantly to the one who commands from a place of sovereign knowing. You have been summoned to these words because your soul is ready to cease the struggle, to end the search, to step fully into your power as a conscious creator. The cosmic green light has illuminated your path. What follows is the final instruction, the remembrance that will change everything. The door to your commanded reality stands open. The only question is, will you finally stop knocking and walk through Part 1, Awakening to the Hidden Switch, the Great Forgetting, and Why Your Efforts Fail. In the heart of a city that never slept lived a woman named Clara. Her apartment was a sanctuary of spiritual ambition, its walls covered in vision boards overflowing with images of wealth, love, and perfect health. Her mornings began before dawn with a rigid routine of meditation, affirmations, and gratitude journaling each day, a testament to her unwavering dedication to the principles of manifestation. Yet, as years turned to dust, her reality remained a stubborn reflection of the very lack she sought to transcend. Her relationships followed the same painful patterns. Her finances remained a source of constant anxiety, and a quiet desperation began to curdle the hope in her heart. One evening, as rain streaked down her window panes, mirroring the tears she refused to shed, a profound question echoed in the silence of her soul. If I am doing everything right, why is everything still so wrong? In this question lies the key to unraveling the great illusion that holds most of humanity captive, the belief that effort equals results, that struggle is a prerequisite for success. You have been taught that to achieve, you must strive to receive, you must earn to command, you must first plead. This is the great forgetting, the veil that has obscured your true nature as a sovereign creator. The universe operates on principles far more subtle and profound than mere willpower. It responds not to the force of your actions, but to the frequency of your being. Like Clara, you may have built a life around the tireless pursuit of a reality that seems to perpetually elude you. You have followed every rule, performed every ritual, yet the prize remains just beyond your grasp. This is not because you are unworthy or because the universe has forsaken you. It is because your very striving creates a countercurrent of resistance. The energy of trying is itself a declaration of not having, and the universe in its perfect precision can only mirror back the truth of your energetic state. The frantic search for a key only reinforces the belief that the door is locked. The desperate plea for rain only confirms the reality of the drought. This is the subtle trap in which so many seekers find themselves caught, their own spiritual ambition becoming the invisible barrier to their fulfillment. But in the depths of Clara's despair, a new awareness began to dawn. She observed a small spider in the corner of her room, weaving an intricate web with effortless grace. The spider did not struggle, it did not hope. It simply acted from its innate knowledge, expressing its nature without question or doubt. In that moment of quiet observation, Clara understood the hidden switch was not a technique to be learned, but a truth to be embodied. It was the shift from doing to being, from trying to knowing, from the mind that seeks to the consciousness that is the sacred practice of witnessing. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Bring your awareness to your current efforts to manifest your desires. Feel the energy of trying, the subtle strain of wanting, the tension of hoping. Notice it without judgment as you would notice a cloud passing in the sky. Now gently release the need to do anything at all. Simply be present with the awareness of your own existence. In this stillness you will feel the first gentle click of the hidden switch moving you from the world of effort into the realm of grace, the illusion of the external source. In a sunlit valley, nestled between ancient mountains, a sculptor named Leo chiseled away at a block of marble day after day. He worked with feverish intensity, his mind fixed on the masterpiece he was determined to create. He sought inspiration in the world around him, in the flight of eagles, the curve of a riverbank, the strength of an old oak tree. Yet his creations, though technically perfect, lacked a certain life, a spark that would elevate them from mere craft to true art. He believed that if he could just capture the essence of the world outside himself, he could finally create something of lasting beauty. This belief mirrors the fundamental illusion under which you have been living. You have been taught that power, peace, and abundance are external qualities to be found, acquired, or earned. You seek love in the embrace of another, validation in the applause of the crowd, and security in the accumulation of wealth. You look to gurus for wisdom and to rituals for power, forever searching for a source outside the sacred temple of your own being. The universe, in its infinite compassion, has designed reality as a perfect feedback system. It reflects back to you the precise nature of your search. If you seek power outside yourself, you will find only fleeting reflections of it, never the source itself. This is the cosmic law that governs all experience. Your reality is not a collection of external circumstances. It is a projection of your internal state, a mirror reflecting the landscape of your own consciousness. One afternoon, as Leo struggled with his uninspired sculpture, an old woman who had been silently watching from the shade of a cypress tree approached him. She carried no tools, no clay, no sign of being an artist. Herself, she simply placed her hand on the cold marble and closed her eyes, a gentle smile gracing her lips. "You search for life in the stone," she whispered, her voice like the rustling of leaves, "when the life you seek is what is doing the searching." Leo looked at her in confusion. "But I am the one creating," he insisted. The old woman's smile deepened. "The sculptor does not give the marble life. The life within the sculptor recognizes itself in the marble." In that instant, the veil lifted from Leo's eyes. He understood that the creative force was not something he had to find or capture. It was the very essence of his own being, the awareness that was looking through his eyes and guiding his hands. He had been an ocean wave trying to borrow wetness from the sea. From that day forward, Leo's work was transformed. He no longer sought to impose a form upon the stone, but rather to enter into a dialogue with it. He listened for the shape that wished to emerge, allowing the life within him to connect with the life dormant in the marble. His sculptures began to pulse with an inner radiance, capturing not the appearance of life, but its very vibration. The sacred practice of recognition. Sit in a comfortable position and bring your awareness to your breath. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Now ask yourself this simple question: who is aware of this breath? Do not search for an answer in your mind. Instead, feel into the silent, knowing presence that is the witness of your experience. This awareness, this silent I am, is the source you have been seeking. It requires no validation, no external power, no permission to exist. It simply is rest in this recognition for several minutes, feeling the profound peace that comes from ceasing the external search. You have found the source by realizing you have never been separate from it. The myth of the deserving self. In the sprawling city of Viridia lived a woman named Isabella, who was haunted by the ghost of her own unworthiness. Though she was talented, kind, and diligent, she moved through life with a perpetual sense of apology, as if her very existence were an imposition. She had absorbed the belief that abundance was a reward for the deserving, and that she had not yet done enough to earn it. Her prayers were filled with promises. If only the universe would grant her this one desire, she would prove her worthiness. She would be more generous, more disciplined, more spiritual. Her entire life was a negotiation with a cosmos she imagined as a stern judge, weighing her deeds on a celestial scale. This is the subtle poison of the myth of deserving, a belief so deeply ingrained in the collective consciousness that few ever question its validity. You have been taught that you must earn your place in the sun, that love must be deserved, and that wealth is a prize for the righteous. This creates a reality where you are forever striving to be good enough, forever trying to prove your worth to an external authority. Yet the universe operates not on a system of merit, but on a law of resonance. It does not grant you what you deserve. It mirrors to you what you believe you are. The concept of worthiness is a human invention, a tool of control that has no place in the cosmic order. A rose does not ask if it is worthy to bloom. It simply blooms. A star does not question its right to shine. It simply shines. You are no different. Your divine birthright is to express your unique essence without condition or apology. One day, while walking through a crowded market, Isabella saw a small child reach for a piece of fruit from a vendor's cart. The child did not hesitate. They did not ask for permission or wonder if they were deserving. They simply acted from a place of pure, untainted desire. The vendor, seeing the child's innocent certainty, smiled and placed the fruit in their tiny hand. This simple observation shattered Isabella's worldview. She saw in that moment that the universe responds not to worthiness, but to certainty. The child's lack of self-doubt created a reality where their desire was effortlessly met. She realized she had spent her life asking for permission from a universe that was only waiting for her command. The practice of sovereign declaration. Find a place where you can be alone and stand tall before a mirror. Look directly into your own eyes, not at the surface reflection, but into the infinite depth of the being. Looking back at you, place your right hand over your heart and speak these words with quiet authority. I am not here to earn my abundance. I am here to allow it. I release the need to prove my worth. My existence is my worthiness. Repeat these words until you feel a shift in your very cellular structure, a release of the ancient burden of seeking approval. You are not asking for permission. You are reclaiming your sovereign right to exist as the magnificent creator you have always been. The unseen architecture of reality. In a grand library filled with ancient scrolls, a scholar named Arthur spent his life decoding the laws of the universe. He studied physics, philosophy, and metaphysics, mastering the principles of cause and effect, the law of attraction, and the power of positive thinking. He could articulate these laws with breathtaking clarity, yet his own life remained a canvas of unfulfilled potential. He understood the mechanics of creation on an intellectual level, but something deeper and more powerful was shaping his reality without his conscious consent. What Arthur had yet to discover is that beneath the visible laws of manifestation lies a hidden architecture, a silent framework of belief that governs the flow of reality in your life. This framework is your subconscious paradigm, the collection of deeply ingrained assumptions and conclusions about reality that were formed in your earliest years and have been operating on autopilot ever since. You may consciously affirm your desire for wealth, but if your subconscious paradigm holds the belief that money is scarce or that wealthy people are corrupt, that hidden belief will always win. You may visualize perfect health, but if your subconscious is programmed with a fear of vulnerability, that program will override your conscious intention. Your subconscious mind is the master architect of your reality. It does not judge or reason. It simply executes the blueprints it has been given with perfect fidelity. The conscious mind is like the decorator choosing the paint colors and furniture, while the subconscious has already built the house. The structure itself dictates what is possible within its walls. This is why so-leveled positive thinking often fails. It is like trying to paint a prison cell a cheerful color. It may momentarily change the appearance, but it does not alter the fundamental structure of confinement. One evening, as Arthur wrestled with this paradox, he fell into a deep sleep and had a vivid dream. He dreamt he was sailing a magnificent ship on a vast ocean. He stood at the helm, turning the wheel with expert precision, yet the ship refused to change course, stubbornly drifting toward a rocky shore. In his frustration, he looked down and saw that a massive anchor was still firmly embedded in the seabed. The dream was a perfect metaphor for his waking life. His conscious efforts were the turning of the wheel, while his subconscious paradigm was the anchor holding him in place. Upon waking, Arthur understood. His focus had been misplaced. He had been trying to steer the ship without first lifting the anchor. From that day forward, his work shifted from conscious creation to subconscious reprogramming. He began to explore the hidden beliefs that had been silently shaping his destiny. The practice of blueprint discovery. Take a journal and find a quiet, reflective space. Write at the top of a page, "The thing I want most is, and the reason I don't have it is now." Allow your pen to move freely without conscious thought or censorship. Let the voice of your subconscious speak. Write whatever comes to mind, no matter how illogical or strange it may seem. Do not edit or judge the words that flow. This is not a mental exercise, but an archaeological dig into the foundations of your own mind. The words that appear on the page are the coordinates of your hidden anchor. Once you can see the blueprint, you gain the power to redraw it. The currency of emotion in a bustling marketplace filled with the vibrant colors and scents of exotic spices. A woman named Eleanor demonstrated a peculiar talent. She was a storyteller, and when she spoke, crowds would gather mesmerized, not so much by the words she used, but by the palpable energy that flowed through them. She could weave tales that brought tears of joy or shivers of suspense, making her listeners feel as if they were living the story themselves. Her rival, a scholar named Marcus, possessed a far greater vocabulary and knowledge of literature, yet his stories, though perfectly structured, left his audiences cold and unmoved. He could not understand why Eleanor's simple tales held such power. This disparity reveals one of the most fundamental secrets of creation. The universe responds not to the content of your thoughts, but to the emotional energy that animates them. Your emotions are the true currency of the quantum field. They are the fuel that ignites the engine of manifestation. A thought without emotion is like a car without gasoline. It may be a beautiful machine, but it will not take you anywhere. You have been taught to focus on the power of positive thinking, to repeat affirmations, and to visualize your desires with clarity, yet without the corresponding emotional resonance. These practices are hollow and ineffective. The universe is not a machine that responds to logical commands. It is a living conscious field that responds to the language of feeling. A single moment of pure, unadulterated joy holds more creative power than 1,000 dispassionate affirmations. One day, Marcus, seeking to understand Eleanor's secret, observed her preparing to tell a story. She was not rehearsing her words or outlining a plot. Instead, she sat in silence, her eyes closed, her hands resting over her heart. He could feel a palpable energy building around her, a vibration of pure feeling. As she began to speak, this energy flowed out to the crowd, enveloping them. In the world she was creating, he realized then that she was not merely telling a story, she was transmitting a feeling. The story was simply the vessel for the emotional currency she wielded so skillfully. This is the hidden switch. You must learn to operate it is the shift from thinking about what you want to feeling the reality of it now when you wish to manifest abundance. Do not simply think thoughts of wealth. Instead, cultivate the feeling of security, expansiveness, and freedom that abundance would bring. When you desire love, do not just visualize a partner. Instead, embody the feeling of connection, intimacy, and joy that love provides. The practice of emotional broadcast. Find a comfortable place to sit and close your eyes. Choose one desire you wish to manifest now. Instead of visualizing it as an image, allow yourself to feel the emotion you would experience if it were already your reality. Let this feeling arise naturally in your body, perhaps as a warmth in your chest, a lightness in your being, or a smile on your face. Do not force it, simply invite it and allow it to expand. Breathe into this feeling, letting it fill every cell of your being until you become a living, breathing broadcast of that emotional frequency. Hold this state for as long as it feels authentic and joyful. This is not an exercise in make-believe. It is an act of energetic alignment. You are tuning your personal vibration to the frequency of your desire, making its manifestation not just possible, but inevitable. The paradox of control in the glass towers of a financial district. A man named Julian orchestrated his life with the precision of a master chess player. His days were scheduled to the minute, his investments were managed by complex algorithms, and his relationships were governed by carefully calculated strategies of give and take. He believed that through meticulous control, he could eliminate uncertainty and guarantee success. Yet the more he tightened his grip on the variables of his life, the more life itself seemed to mock his efforts. Unexpected market crashes disrupted his perfect plans, and relationships withered under the weight of his strategic manipulations. He was a king, ruling over a kingdom that refused to obey. This struggle illustrates a profound paradox that lies at the heart of creation. True power is found not in control, but in surrender. You have been conditioned to believe that you must force your will upon reality, that you must manage every detail and plan for every contingency. This approach is born from a deep-seated fear of the unknown, a fear that if you were to release your grip, chaos would ensue. But the universe operates on a wisdom far grander than your conscious mind can comprehend. It is a self-organizing intelligence that flows with perfect grace when left unobstructed. Your attempts to control it are like a child trying to direct the course of a mighty river by building a dam of pebbles. The river simply flows around the futile effort one weekend, seeking respite from the stress of his crumbling empire. Julian found himself in a small coastal village, watching a skilled sailor navigate a small boat. Through a narrow channel, the sailor did not fight the wind and the tides. Instead, he adjusted his sails with subtle movements, using the very forces that could have capsized him to propel his vessel forward with speed and grace. Julian approached the old sailor and asked for the secret to his mastery. The sailor laughed, a sound as weathered as the sea itself. "I do not control the ocean, my boy," he said. "I dance with it in that moment." Julian understood the profound error in his approach. He had been at war with life, trying to conquer its currents. Rather than align with them, he saw that his need for control was not a source of strength, but a barrier to the natural flow of abundance and success that was always available. The sacred practice of releasing the helm. Find a quiet space and sit with your eyes closed. Bring to mind an area of your life where you have been trying to exert rigid control. Feel the tension in your body that this effort creates, the tightness in your shoulders, the clenching in your jaw. Now visualize yourself at the helm of a magnificent ship. On a vast ocean, you have been gripping the wheel with all your might, trying to force a specific course. Now consciously and deliberately let go. Take your hands off the wheel and step back. Feel the ship respond as the invisible currents of divine intelligence take over. Notice the sense of relief that washes over you. The release of an immense burden. Say aloud, I release my need to control the outcome. I trust in the wisdom of the universal flow. You are not abandoning your journey. You are simply allowing a greater power to guide you to your destination through the most graceful and efficient path possible. The silent commander, your subconscious mind. In a laboratory filled with intricate machinery, a scientist named Evelyn conducted an experiment on the nature of belief. She programmed a robot with a single directive to seek out a red ball placed somewhere in the room. She then consciously instructed the robot to find a blue ball day after day. The robot ignored her verbal commands and continued its relentless search for the red ball. It was not disobedient. Its core programming simply superseded her surface-level instructions. This experiment is a perfect metaphor for the relationship between your conscious and subconscious minds. You may spend your days consciously affirming your desire for success and happiness. Your conscious mind hears these commands and agrees. Yet if your subconscious mind, your inner robot, has been programmed with core beliefs of unworthiness or fear, it will tirelessly create a reality that matches that deeper programming regardless of your conscious wishes. Your subconscious mind is the silent commander of your life. It operates 24 hours a day, executing its directives with unwavering fidelity. It does not reason, debate, or question. It simply creates a reality that is consistent with the beliefs it holds. This is why willpower so often fails. You are trying to use the limited processing power of your conscious mind to override the supercomputer of your subconscious. It is a battle you are destined to lose until you learn to change the programming itself. A young woman named Sarah was terrified of public speaking despite her conscious desire to share her message with the world. Every time she stepped on stage, her body would betray her. Her heart would pound, her palms would sweat, and her mind would go blank. She tried every conscious technique, affirmations, visualization, positive self-talk, but nothing worked. The fear was too deeply embedded. One day she sought the help of a wise mentor who did not focus on her conscious thoughts at all. Instead, the mentor guided Sarah into a state of deep relaxation and began to speak directly to her subconscious mind, using metaphors and symbolic language that bypassed the critical faculty of her conscious awareness. The mentor helped Sarah discover the root of her fear, a childhood incident where she was ridiculed for speaking up in class. Together, they reframed that memory, transforming it from a source of trauma into a source of strength. The next time Sarah stepped on stage, something miraculous happened. The fear was gone. In its place was a quiet confidence, a natural ease. She spoke with clarity and passion, her message flowing effortlessly. She hadn't conquered her fear, she had rewritten the program that created it. The practice of subconscious reprogramming. Find a time each night just as you are drifting off to sleep. This is the moment when the veil between your conscious and subconscious minds is at its thinnest. Choose one new belief you wish to install, such as I am a natural conduit for abundance, or I am worthy of deep and fulfilling love. Create a short, simple phrase that embodies this belief. Now, as you lie in bed, repeat this phrase gently and passively, like a lullaby. Do not force it or try to believe it. Simply let the words wash over you as you drift into the realm of dreams. You are planting a new seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. With consistent practice, this seed will sprout and grow into a new reality effortlessly and automatically. The frequency of having. In a valley famous for its mysterious echoes, a traveler named Thomas shouted his deepest desire into the canyon. "I want wealth," he yelled. The echo returned a hollow whisper. "Want wealth," he tried again. "I need success," the canyon answered back. "Need success." Frustrated, he sat down on a rock. Defeated, a wise old hermit who lived in the caves of the canyon approached him. "You are speaking the language of lack," he said, his voice gentle but firm. "The echo can only return the energy you send. Try a different language." The hermit then stood, took a deep breath, and spoke into the canyon with quiet certainty. "I am wealth." The echo that returned was thunderous and resonant. "I am wealth." This story reveals a fundamental law of the universe. The frequency you broadcast determines the reality you receive. You have been taught to ask for what you want, to plead with the universe to grant your desires. But the very act of wanting sends out a signal of not having a frequency of lack. The universe, in its role as a perfect mirror, simply reflects this frequency back to you, creating a reality where you are always in a state of wanting. The hidden switch is not about changing what you ask for. It is about changing your energetic state from one of wanting to one of having. This is the most powerful shift you can make in your manifestation practice. To vibrate at the frequency of having, you must feel in your body right now the reality of your desire fulfilled. It is not a mental exercise of pretending. It is a deep somatic experience of embodying the end result. A young artist named Maya wanted desperately to sell her paintings. She spent her days worrying about gallery owners and art critics, hoping someone would recognize her talent. Her energy was one of desperate neediness, and her studio remained filled with unsold canvases. One day she had an epiphany. She stopped focusing on selling her work and started focusing on being a successful artist. She began to walk, talk, and create from the energy of someone whose work was already celebrated and sought after. She felt the quiet confidence, the creative freedom, the joy of sharing her gift with an appreciative world. Within weeks, something miraculous happened. A prominent art collector happened upon her small studio and was so taken by the powerful energy of her new work that he bought her entire collection. Maya hadn't changed her technique. She had changed her frequency, the sacred practice of vibrational embodiment. Close your eyes and bring your desire to mind. Now shift your attention from the desire itself to the feeling of its fulfillment. What would it feel like in your body to have it right now? Would you feel expansive, relaxed, joyful, secure? Allow that feeling to permeate your entire being. Let your cells vibrate with the frequency of having. This is not an act of visualization. It is an act of becoming. Hold this vibrational state for several minutes each day, not as a task to be completed, but as a return to your true nature. You are not trying to attract your desire. You are becoming a vibrational match to it, making its physical manifestation inevitable. The myth of the grand gesture. In a kingdom ruled by a wise and benevolent queen, there lived a man named Arthur who longed to win her favor. He believed that only a grand gesture, a heroic deed, or a magnificent gift could capture her attention. He spent years planning to slay a mythical beast or uncover a lost treasure, all the while overlooking the simple daily opportunities to show his devotion. This is the trap that many fall into on their spiritual journey. You believe that transformation requires a monumental effort, a dramatic breakthrough, or a single life-altering event. You wait for the grand gesture from the universe, a lottery win, a soulmate's sudden appearance, a miraculous healing, all the while ignoring the subtle language through which the universe is constantly communicating with you. Reality is not shaped by grand gestures, but by the cumulative effect of your small, consistent choices. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions each moment is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. A single stroke may seem insignificant, but over time, they combine to create a masterpiece or a mess. The universe is not waiting for you to perform a heroic feat. It is observing the quality of your attention in the present moment. A young woman named Alara sought enlightenment. She traveled to distant monasteries and sat at the feet of great masters, expecting a single profound teaching that would awaken her. Yet each master gave her the same simple instruction to wash the dishes with her full attention. Frustrated, Alara left the monasteries, believing she had failed one day. While washing her own dishes at home, her mind quiet and her attention fully on the warmth of the water and the smoothness of the ceramic. A profound sense of peace descended upon her. In that simple act of mindful presence, she experienced the enlightenment she had been chasing across the world. The queen in the kingdom noticed Arthur not for his grand plans, but for the kindness he showed to a stray dog, the loving care he gave to his small garden, and the honest way he conducted his simple trade. One day she summoned him to the palace, not to reward him for a heroic deed, but to honor the quality of his character, which he had demonstrated in 1,000 small, unobserved moments. The hidden switch is not a dramatic lever you pull once, it is a series of small clicks that occur each time you choose presence over distraction, love over fear, and gratitude over complaint. The sacred practice of the divine ordinary. Choose one ordinary activity that you perform every day. It could be brushing your teeth, making coffee, or walking to your car for the next 7 days. Commit to performing this one act with your full and undivided attention. Treat it as the most sacred ritual of your day. Feel every sensation, hear every sound, observe every detail. Do not try to make it special. Simply be fully present with what is in this practice. You will discover that the extraordinary is not a destination to be reached, but a quality of awareness to be brought to the ordinary moments of your life. The universe of signs in a land where the sky was a canvas of ever-changing light. A young cartographer named Leo was tasked with mapping a newly discovered continent. He was given the finest instruments, charts, and compasses, yet he found himself perpetually lost. The landscape seemed to shift and change, defying his attempts to capture it in the rigid lines of his maps. Frustrated and defeated, he abandoned his tools and simply began to walk, allowing his intuition to guide him. As he did, he started to notice the subtle signs, the way the moss grew on the north side of trees, the flight patterns of birds. At dusk, the shape of the clouds before a storm. He realized that the land itself was communicating with him, providing a living map far more accurate than any he could draw. You live in a universe that is constantly speaking to you, yet you have been trained to listen only to the loud and the obvious. You look for dramatic signs, thunderclaps, and burning bushes, while overlooking the whispers of synchronicity that guide you every moment of the day. A song on the radio that answers a question in your mind. A chance encounter with someone who holds a piece of your puzzle. A book that falls open to the exact page you need to read. These are not coincidences. They are the universe's way of winking at you, of confirming that you are on the right path. The hidden switch is the shift in your perception, from seeing reality as a random collection of events to recognizing it as a meaningful dialogue, a dance of signs and symbols orchestrated for your guidance. A woman named Fiona was struggling with a difficult decision in her life. She meditated, she journaled, she asked her friends for advice, but clarity eluded her. One afternoon, she went for a walk in the woods with her mind still churning. She noticed a small feather on the path, a perfect white plume. She picked it up and felt a sense of peace. A few steps later, she saw another and then another. A trail of white feathers seemed to be leading her down a specific path. She followed it without question, and it led her to a secluded waterfall, a place of such profound beauty and stillness that her mind instantly fell silent. In that silence, the answer to her question arose with crystal clarity. The feathers had not given her the answer. They had guided her to the state of being, where the answer could be received. The sacred practice of the meaning hunter. For the next 24 hours, adopt the mindset of a meaning hunter. Assume that everything that happens is a personal message from the universe to you. Pay attention to recurring numbers, snippets of conversation. You overhear animals that cross your path and feelings that arise in response to your environment. Do not try to force an interpretation. Simply notice and record your observations in a journal. At the end of the day, review your notes and look for patterns and themes. What is the universe trying to tell you? This practice will retrain your brain to recognize the subtle language of reality, transforming you from a passive observer into an active participant in a cosmic conversation. The final illusion. Separation. In the heart of a vast and ancient forest stood two trees, a mighty oak and a slender birch. From the surface they appeared as separate and distinct beings, their branches reaching for the sky in their own unique ways. Yet beneath the soil, hidden from view, their roots were deeply intertwined, a vast and complex network that connected them not only to each other, but to every other living thing in the forest. They shared nutrients, they communicated through subtle chemical signals, and they drew life from the same earth. They were not two separate trees. They were two expressions of a single forest, a single life. This is the final and most profound illusion. You must transcend the belief in your own separation. You perceive yourself as a solitary being, an individual. Consciousness housed within a physical body, separate from the world. And from others, you see yourself as a drop and the universe as the ocean. Yet the truth is that you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. The sense of separation is the root cause of all suffering. It is the source of fear, of lack, of loneliness. It is the belief that you must protect yourself from the world, that you must compete for resources, and that you must seek love and validation from others. But when you awaken to the truth of your interconnectedness, this entire paradigm collapses. A man named Benjamin lived his life in a state of quiet desperation. He felt isolated and alone constantly, striving to make his mark on a world he perceived as indifferent and hostile. One night he had a dream in which he was a single cell in a vast and complex body. In the dream he felt the pain of his isolation, his belief that he was separate and insignificant. Then the perspective shifted and he became the entire body. He felt the trillions of cells working in perfect harmony, each one a vital and beloved part of the whole. He felt the love and intelligence that connected every cell to every other cell. And he understood that the isolation he had felt as a single cell was a complete illusion. Upon waking, Benjamin was a changed man. The world no longer seemed hostile or indifferent. He saw the face of himself in every person he met, and he felt his connection to the web of life that sustained him. His loneliness dissolved, not because he found a new relationship, but because he realized he had never been alone. The practice of unified awareness. Sit in a quiet place and close your eyes. Become aware of the air you are breathing. Now recognize that this same air is being breathed by every other person and every other living thing on the planet. Feel your connection to them through this shared breath. Now become aware of the ground beneath you. Feel the solid support of the earth. Recognize that this same earth supports every being on the planet, and that you are made of the same elements as the mountains, the rivers, and the stars. Expand your awareness to feel the subtle web of energy that connects all things. The quantum field in which everything is a vibration in a single unified whole. Rest in this state of unified awareness, feeling the peace and power that comes from knowing you are not separate, but are an integral and beloved expression of the one life, the universe itself. Part 2. The Mechanics of the Hidden Switch. How to Command Your Reality. In the clockmaker's workshop in a cobblestone alley, a young apprentice named Thomas struggled to assemble a complex timepiece. He had all the necessary components, the gears, the springs, the delicate hands, Yet no matter how he arranged them, the clock refused to work. His master, an old man with eyes that held the patience of centuries, watched him for a time before speaking. "You are trying to force the parts to fit," he said gently. "You have not yet understood the principle that makes them dance together. The hidden switch is not a mystical concept. It is a mechanism that operates on precise, universal principles, just as the clockmaker must understand the laws of mechanics. To create a functioning timepiece, you must understand the energetic laws of reality to command your own destiny. This is not a matter of belief or faith, but of application. Once you understand the mechanics, the results are predictable and repeatable. The first principle is focus. Your attention is the currency of creation. Wherever you place your focus, you are directing the flow of universal energy to that point. Thoughts held in the mind with sustained attention begin to gather energy and take form. Most people's attention is scattered and fragmented like a light bulb that diffuses its light in all directions. A master of reality learns to focus their attention like a laser beam, concentrating its power to a single point to create a specific effect. The second principle is feeling. As you have learned, emotion is the fuel of manifestation. A focused thought without feeling is a blueprint without a construction crew. It is the emotion you attach to your thought that provides the energy for it to coalesce into physical form. The feeling of already having your desire is the most powerful creative force in the universe. The third principle is assumption. Your subconscious mind accepts your deepest assumptions as reality. It does not argue or debate. It simply creates a world that is consistent with what you assume to be true. When you assume struggle, you will create struggle. When you assume ease, you will create ease. Changing your assumptions is the most direct way to change your reality. A young woman named Amelia wanted to learn to play the violin. She practiced for hours each day, meticulously following her teacher's instructions. Yet her playing remained stilted and lifeless. One day, her master took the violin from her and played a single note of such breathtaking beauty that it brought tears to her eyes. "How did you do that?" Amelia asked. The master smiled. "I did not play the note," he said. "I became the note." This is the ultimate secret of commanding reality. It is not something you do. It is something you become. You do not command the universe. You become a commander, and the universe naturally responds to your state of being. The practice of the three principles. Choose one clear desire you wish to manifest each day for the next 7 days. Spend 5 minutes in focused practice. First, focus your attention on the reality of your desire fulfilled. See it, hear it, touch it with all your senses. Second, infuse this vision with the emotion of its fulfillment. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the relief as if it is happening now. Third, assume the state of being of the person who already has this desire. Walk, talk, and act from this assumption throughout your day. This practice aligns the three core principles of manifestation, making the command of your reality not just a possibility, but a natural consequence of your new state of being. The power of a clear decision. In the court of a legendary king, a knight named Sir Reginald stood paralyzed by indecision. He had been offered 2 quests of equal honor and importance, one to defend the western borders and the other to seek a lost artifact in the eastern mountains. For weeks, he weighed the options, creating endless lists of pros and cons, seeking the counsel of advisors, and praying for a sign. His indecision created a state of energetic stagnation. Not only did he fail to embark on either quest, but his own vitality began to wane, his strength and clarity replaced by a fog of confusion. This story illustrates a critical mechanic of reality. A clear decision is a command to the universe. When you are in a state of indecision, you are sending out mixed signals, a fuzzy frequency that the universe cannot act upon. It is like telling a taxi driver, you want to go both north and south simultaneously. The driver can only wait for you to choose a direction. The universe operates in the same way. It cannot deliver a reality that you have not clearly chosen. The moment you make a clear, unequivocal decision, you collapse the infinite field of possibilities into a single timeline. You have given the universe its marching orders, and all of its resources begin to conspire to bring that decision into physical form. This is why people often experience a surge of energy and clarity after making a difficult decision. The energetic fog has lifted, and the path forward becomes illuminated. A young entrepreneur named Beatrice was struggling to grow her business. She had a dozen potential product ideas and marketing strategies, and she spent her days dabbling in all of them, never fully committing to any. Her business remained small and stagnant. One day, her mentor gave her a stark piece of advice. Choose one thing and go all in, burn the other boats. So there is no retreat, though. It was terrifying. Beatrice made a decision. She chose one product line and one marketing strategy, and she poured all of her energy and resources into it. She let go of all the other possibilities. Almost immediately, her business began to grow exponentially. Her clear decision had created a powerful channel through which the energy of success could flow. The sacred practice of the decisive cut. Take a piece of paper and write down an area of your life where you have been feeling indecisive. List all the options you have been considering now. Take a pair of scissors and, with a sense of ceremony and finality, cut out the one option you are choosing to commit to. As you make the cut, say aloud, "I choose this path. I release all others with love and gratitude." Feel the energetic shift as you make this declaration. Burn or discard the other options as a symbolic act of releasing them from your energy field. Place your chosen option somewhere you can see it every day as a reminder of the clear command you have given to the universe. You have now activated the power of a clear decision, and the universe will respond in kind. The alchemy of belief. In an ancient alchemical laboratory, a master worked not with lead and gold, but with the very substance of belief. He had discovered that beliefs were not mere thoughts, but energetic structures that shaped the fabric of reality itself. He taught his apprentices that a limiting belief was like a piece of lead, dense, heavy, and resistant to change. But through a specific alchemical process, it could be transmuted into the gold of an empowering belief, a structure that was light, radiant, and magnetically attractive. Your beliefs are the foundational girders of your reality. They determine what you perceive as possible, what you allow yourself to receive, and how you interpret the events of your life. You do not see the world as it is. You see the world as you are, and who you are is a collection of your beliefs. To change your reality, you must first change the beliefs that create it. This is the work of a true alchemist, the transmutation of your own consciousness. One of the master's apprentices, a young man named Julian, was tasked with transmuting his core belief that he was not intelligent enough to succeed. He had carried this belief since childhood, and it had created a reality of struggle and self-sabotage. The master guided him through the 4 stages of alchemical transmutation. First, calcination, to bring the belief into the light of awareness without judgment. Second, dissolution, to break the belief down into its component parts, understanding its origins and the false evidence that supported it. Third, separation, to separate the pure energy of the belief from its limiting form. And fourth, coagulation, to reshape that energy into a new, empowering belief that I am a vessel for divine intelligence. The process was not easy. It required courage, patience, and a willingness to face the shadows within. But as Julian worked through the stages, he felt a profound shift in his being. The old belief began to lose its power, its density replaced by a new lightness and clarity. Opportunities began to appear that he would have previously dismissed as beyond his capabilities, and he found himself speaking and acting with a newfound confidence. He had not changed his intellect. He had transmuted the belief that limited it. The sacred practice of belief. Transmutation. Choose one limiting belief that you are ready to transform. Write it down on a piece of paper. Now perform the 4 alchemical steps in your journal. First, Calcination, write down all the ways this belief has shown up in your life, all the evidence that seems to support it. Next, dissolution, write down where this belief came from, who taught it to you, what experiences seemed to create it. Then separation, write down the positive intention behind the belief. What was it trying to protect you from? What purpose did it serve? Finally, coagulation, write down your new empowering belief and all the new evidence you can find to support it. Read this new belief aloud every morning and evening for 21 days, feeling its truth in your body. You are an alchemist transforming the lead of your old reality into the gold of your new one. The resonance of receiving in a village known for its beautiful gardens lived a woman named Elara, whose garden was the most magnificent of all. Her flowers were more vibrant, her fruits more plentiful, and her herbs more potent than any others. People came from far and wide to ask for her secret fertilizer or her special watering techniques. But Elara's secret was not in what she did, but in her state of being. She had mastered the art of receiving. You have been taught that manifestation is about sending out your desires, about focusing your intention and taking action. But this is only half of the equation. The other half, the part that is often overlooked, is the art of receiving. You can send out the most powerful signal in the universe, but if your receiver is not tuned to the right frequency or is blocked by static, you will receive nothing. The universe is in a constant state of giving. It is pouring forth an infinite stream of abundance, love, and joy in every moment. The question is not whether the universe is giving, but whether you are open to receive. The hidden switch is not just about commanding, but also about allowing. Your ability to receive is determined by your sense of worthiness, your beliefs about what is possible, and your capacity to handle the energy of your desires fulfilled. If you ask for $1 million, but on a subconscious level you feel unworthy of wealth, or you fear the responsibility that comes with it, you will create an energetic blockage that prevents the money from flowing to you. A young musician named David dreamed of playing in the grand concert hall of his city. He practiced relentlessly and sent his audition tapes to the director every year. For 10 years he was rejected. One day he met a wise old cellist who had played in the hall for decades. "What are you practicing?" David asked the old master. "I practice my scales, my concertos, my technique." The old master smiled. "That is good. But are you practicing receiving the applause?" David was confused. The cellist explained, "Every day I sit in the empty hall and I feel the energy of a standing ovation. I feel the gratitude, the admiration, the joy pouring toward me from the audience. I open every cell of my body to receive it, so that when it comes to me, in reality, there is no resistance." David began to practice this. He sat in his small room and imagined the feeling of receiving the adoration of a full house. At first he felt uncomfortable, resistant, unworthy, but he persisted. Day after day he practiced opening himself to the energy of being received. The next year he was not only accepted into the orchestra, but was also chosen for a solo performance. And as he stood on the stage receiving his standing ovation, he realized the applause felt familiar, as if he had already experienced it 1,000 times. The sacred practice of the open channel. Find a quiet place and sit with your spine straight, your hands resting on your lap with palms facing up. This is the posture of receiving. Close your eyes and imagine a golden waterfall of light pouring down from the heavens into the crown of your head. Feel this light flowing through your entire body, clearing away any blockages to receiving, any feelings of unworthiness, any fears of having too much. Now bring to mind your desire, and instead of focusing on getting it, focus on the feeling of having already received it. What does it feel like to have that love, that wealth, that health in your life right now? Breathe into that feeling, allowing your body to become an open and receptive channel for the universe's infinite gifts. The sovereign's gaze in the kingdom of the inner sun. The ruler did not command with words or actions, but with the silent power of their gaze. Whatever they looked upon with love and appreciation flourished. Whatever they ignored or judged withered and died. This is not a fairy tale, it is a deep metaphysical truth. Your attention is a creative force, a spotlight that illuminates and energizes. Whatever it touches, you are the sovereign of your own reality, and where you place your gaze determines the landscape of your kingdom. Most people's gaze is scattered and undisciplined. It flits from fear to worry to judgment to lack. They focus on what is wrong, on what is missing, on what they don't want. And in doing so, they inadvertently command the universe to create more of it. The universe is an obedient servant. It does not judge your requests. It simply delivers what you are focused on. If you focus on your debts, you will create more debt. If you focus on your loneliness, you will create more loneliness. The hidden switch is the conscious act of mastering your gaze, of deliberately placing your attention only on what you wish to magnify in your life. A man named Arthur was plagued by a persistent weed in his garden, a thorny invasive plant that seemed to defy all his efforts to eradicate it. The more he pulled it and cursed it, the faster it grew. In his frustration, he consulted a master gardener. The gardener's advice was simple and profound. "Stop looking at the weed," he said. "Instead, give all your attention to the flowers you wish to grow. Water them, praise them, admire their beauty." Arthur was skeptical, but he followed the advice. He stopped fighting the weed and instead poured all his love and attention into his roses. Within weeks, the roses began to flourish, growing with a vitality he had never seen before, and as they grew, they naturally crowded out the weed, which withered and died from lack of attention. The weed had not been conquered, it had been deprived of the creative energy of Arthur's gaze. This is the secret of sovereign creation. You do not need to fight the darkness, you simply need to turn on the light. You do not need to fix what is broken. You need to focus on what is whole. You do not need to eliminate lack. You need to magnify abundance. The sacred practice of the appreciative gaze throughout your day. Make a conscious practice of placing your appreciative gaze on what you want more of. When you receive a bill, give thanks for the abundance that allowed you to receive that service. When you see a couple in love, bless their connection and feel the love in your own heart. When you see a beautiful home, admire it and feel the gratitude for the beauty in your own life. Do not do this as a technique to get something. Do it as a way of being, as a sovereign who knows that whatever they bless with their attention must expand and flourish in their kingdom. The dance of detachment in an ancient monastery high in the mountains. There was a room known as the Chamber of Echoes. Whatever desire was whispered into this room would manifest in the outside world. But there was a catch. The seeker had to whisper their desire and then immediately walk away without looking back or waiting for a response. Those who lingered, who hoped, who checked for results, found their desires remained mere echoes in the chamber. Those who mastered the art of whispering and walking away found their desires manifesting with astonishing speed and precision. This monastery legend reveals a crucial mechanic of reality, the dance between intention and detachment. You must hold your desire with crystal clarity in your mind and heart, and then you must release it completely to the universe, trusting that it will be delivered in the perfect way and at the perfect time. This is the paradox that confounds most seekers. They believe that to manifest something, they must hold on to it tightly. They must think about it constantly, worry about it, and try to control the process. But this very act of clutching creates an energy of resistance, of neediness that repels the desire. It is like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it is growing. You must trust the process and allow it to unfold in its own time. A woman named Evelyn was deeply in love with a man who was ambivalent about their relationship. She spent her days and nights thinking about him, trying to say and do the perfect things to win his love. The more she tried, the more he pulled away, and her heartbreak, she went on a retreat where a wise teacher told her love is like a butterfly. If you chase it, it will fly away, but if you sit quietly and become a beautiful flower, it will land on your shoulder. Evelyn took this advice to heart. She stopped contacting the man, she stopped thinking about him, and she poured all of her energy into becoming her own beautiful flower. She took up painting, she traveled, she reconnected with friends, she fell in love with her own life. And then something miraculous happened. The man came back. Not because she had chased him, but because he was drawn to the irresistible beauty of her self-sufficient joy. By detaching from the outcome, she had become magnetic. The sacred practice of the sacred release. Write your deepest desire on a small piece of paper. Fold it up and hold it in your hands. Infuse it with all the love and clarity you can muster. Feel the joy of its fulfillment as if it is already yours. Then go to a place in nature, a river, an ocean, a mountaintop, and release the paper to the elements as you let it go. Say aloud, I release this desire to the infinite wisdom of the universe. I trust in its perfect and divine manifestation. Then turn and walk away without looking back. Do not check for signs. Do not wonder about the outcome. You have placed your order with the cosmos. Now your only job is to live your life in joyful expectation, knowing that your desire is on its way to you. In the most miraculous of ways, the moment of no return in the journey of every master. There comes a point of no return, a moment when the hidden switch is not just flipped, but permanently locked in the on position. It is the moment when knowing replaces believing, when being replaces trying, and when commanding reality becomes as natural as breathing. This is not a destination you arrive at through effort, but a state of consciousness you awaken into. It is the realization that you are not a small self, trying to manipulate a big universe, but that you are the universe itself, experiencing itself through the lens of your unique perspective. A young prince named Alistair was heir to a vast and powerful kingdom, but he was plagued by self-doubt. He did not feel worthy of his royal birthright, and he spent his days trying to prove himself to his father, the king. He undertook heroic quests and studied ancient texts, all in an attempt to feel like a true prince. One day the king took him to a secret chamber deep within the palace. In the center of the chamber was a simple wooden throne. Alistair's father did not speak, but simply gestured for him to sit. As Alistair sat on the throne, something profound shifted within him. He did not feel a surge of external power, but an awakening of an internal authority that had been dormant all along. In that moment he stopped being a prince, trying to become a king, and he simply became the king. His need for his father's approval vanished, replaced by a quiet certainty in his own sovereign nature. From that day forward he ruled the kingdom not with force, but with wisdom, not with ego, but with love. He had reached the point of no return. You are now approaching this same throne within your own being. The practices and principles in this audiobook have been preparing you for this moment, for the final click of the hidden switch that will irrevocably change your relationship with reality. It is the moment you stop seeking power and you realize that you are power. The moment you stop asking for love and you realize that you are love. The moment you stop chasing abundance and you realize that you are abundance. Abundance. The sacred practice of enthronement. Find a place where you will not be disturbed. Sit in a comfortable chair that you will designate as your throne. Close your eyes and feel your connection to the earth beneath you and the heavens above you. Visualize a crown of golden light descending upon your head, a symbol of your divine sovereignty. Feel the weight and the power of this crown as it activates the centers of wisdom and authority within you, and you now feel a royal robe of purple light draping over your shoulders, a symbol of your mastery over the material realm. Finally, feel a scepter of crystalline light materializing in your right hand, a symbol of your power to command reality with your intention. You are not pretending, you are remembering your true nature from this throne of consciousness. You are the king or queen of your reality. Now, from this state of enthronement, issue a single command for your life, a declaration of the reality you now choose to inhabit. Speak it aloud with quiet, unshakable authority. Then simply sit in silence, feeling the universe realign itself to your sovereign decree. You have crossed the threshold. You will never be the same again. Part 3. Mastering the commanded reality, living as the sovereign of your world. In the ancient city of masters, there were no temples dedicated to seeking. There were no rituals for asking and no prayers for receiving. The inhabitants of this city had moved beyond the paradigm of desire into the reality of being. They understood that the universe was not an external force to be petitioned, but an internal state to be embodied. They did not manifest their reality. They were their reality. This is the realm you are now entering, a state of consciousness where the hidden switch is no longer a tool you use, but an integral part of who you are. You no longer need to practice commanding reality, because your very presence is a command. The world around you becomes a fluid and responsive reflection of your inner state, effortlessly molding itself to the frequency of your being. This is not a final destination, but a new beginning, a platform from which you will create in ways that your former self could not even imagine. A young artist who had mastered her craft was asked how she created such breathtaking sculptures. "I don't create them," she replied. "I simply remove the parts of the stone that are not the sculpture." In the same way, you will no longer be trying to add things to your life. You will simply be removing the beliefs and patterns that are not in alignment with the magnificent reality that is your birthright. Your focus will shift from getting to giving, from receiving to radiating. You will become a sun unto yourself, shining the light of your commanded reality outward, blessing everything you touch. A philosopher who had achieved this state of mastery was asked by a student, "What is the secret to your happiness?" The philosopher smiled and said, "The secret is that I no longer have any secrets. I live in complete transparency with the universe, and it with me. I do not hide my desires, for they are the universe's desires. Expressing through me, I do not fear my challenges, for they are the universe's way of helping me grow stronger. There are no secrets when you realize that you are the one. You have been keeping them from the practice of radiant being. Each morning upon waking, before your mind engages with the world, spend a few moments in silent recognition of your sovereign nature. Feel the power and the peace of the being you have become. You are not preparing to command your day. You are the command that will shape the day, then move through your day from this state of radiant being. Notice how people respond to you, how opportunities appear as if by magic, and how the world itself seems to conspire to delight you. You are no longer a player in the game of life. You are the one who is dreaming the game, the art of divine indifference in the court of the sovereign Creator. There is a quality of being that is often misunderstood by those still trapped in the world of effort. It is the state of divine indifference. This is not a cold or uncaring state, but one of supreme trust and detachment. It is the knowing that all is well and that all is unfolding in perfect divine order. Even when the external world appears chaotic or challenging, a master of reality does not have good days and bad days. They have days of expansion and days of contraction, days of expression and days of integration. They understand that both are necessary parts of the cosmic dance. They do not resist the challenges because they know that within every challenge lies a hidden gift, a seed of greater strength and wisdom. A woman named Serafina had built a thriving business that was the envy of her city. One day a fire swept through the city, destroying her workshops and warehouses. Her friends and family rushed to console her, expecting to find her devastated. But Serafina was calm. Her eyes held a peaceful light. They did not understand that Serafina was practicing the art of divine indifference. She knew that the universe had not punished her, but was simply clearing the ground for something new and even more magnificent to be built. She did not know what that would be, but she trusted in the process completely. She held no attachment to the form her abundance had taken, and so she was free to receive it. in a new and even greater form. Within a year, she had rebuilt her business on a scale that dwarfed her previous success. She had not fought the fire, she had used its transformative energy to fuel her next creation. This is the power that becomes available to you when you master the hidden switch. You are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances, because you know that you are the source of your reality. You are not attached to any particular outcome, because you trust that the universe will always deliver what is in your highest good, even if it doesn't look the way your ego expects. The sacred practice of the welcoming heart when you are faced with a situation that appears to be a problem or a setback. Do not resist it, do not fight it, do not even try to fix it. Instead, place your hand over your heart and say aloud to the situation, "Welcome. I see you, I honor your presence. I know you are here to serve my highest good, and I am open to receiving your gift." This practice shifts you out of the energy of victimhood and into the state of sovereign allowance. It is an act of supreme trust that dissolves resistance and allows the hidden blessing within the challenge to be revealed. The infinite ripple effect in a quiet pond. In a secluded garden, a single drop of rain fell, creating a series of concentric ripples that expanded outward, touching every shore. This simple event illustrates a profound principle of commanded reality. Your state of being does not just affect your own life, it sends out a vibrational ripple that touches the entire cosmos. You are not an island, you are a broadcasting tower, and the frequency you emit is constantly shaping the world around you in ways you may never consciously perceive. When you live from a place of fear and lack, you contribute to the collective field of fear and lack. On the planet, when you live from a state of love and abundance, you uplift the consciousness of all humanity. This is the sacred responsibility that comes with mastering the hidden switch. Your inner state is no longer a private matter, it is a powerful contribution to the world. A man named Jonathan had lived a life of quiet service, helping the poor and healing the sick. He never sought recognition or reward, and he died in relative obscurity. Centuries later, a historian discovered his journals and was astonished to find that during the years of Jonathan's life, the regions where he lived experienced unprecedented periods of peace and prosperity. There were no wars, no famines, no plagues. The historian could find no logical explanation for this anomaly. What the historian did not know was that Jonathan was a master of reality, who lived in a constant state of high vibrational consciousness. His inner peace created an outer peace. His inner abundance created an outer abundance. His presence was a silent command that uplifted the entire region. This is the power that you now wield. Your commanded reality is not just for you, it is a gift to the world. Every time you choose love over fear, you make it easier for someone else to do the same. Every time you embody abundance, you create a pathway for others to step into their own prosperity. You are a pebble dropped into the pond of consciousness, and the ripples of your being extend to infinity. The sacred practice of the conscious broadcasts several times throughout your day. Pause and consciously choose the frequency you wish to broadcast to the world. Take a deep breath and feel the energy of peace, of love, of joy, or of abundance filling your being. Then, with your intention, send this energy outward from your heart. Like a radio signal, envision it touching your family, your community, and the entire planet. You are not trying to change anyone or anything. You are simply offering your vibration as a gift to the world. This is the highest form of service and the natural expression of a sovereign being who has mastered the art of commanded reality. The dream and the dreamer in the final chamber of the Temple of Knowing. There is only one teaching left to learn, a truth so simple that it is often the last to be realized. A young seeker, having passed all the tests and mastered all the principles, stood before the final master and asked, "What is left for me to learn?" The master smiled a smile that contained the light of 1,000 suns. and said only this to awaken from the dream. The reality you have learned to command is itself a dream, a magnificent and intricate play of consciousness. You have learned to become the master of your dream, to choose the characters, the settings, and the plot. But the final step in your evolution is to realize that you are not the character in the dream. You are the dreamer itself. This realization does not negate the dream. It infuses it with a new level of freedom and joy. When you know you are the dreamer, you can play any role in the dream. Without being attached to it, you can experience wealth or poverty, success or failure, love or loss, all with a sense of divine playfulness. Because you know that none of it is ultimately real. It is all just a dance of light and shadow in the mind. Of the one dreamer, a woman who had achieved this state of consciousness was once asked, "Are you not afraid of losing all your wealth?" She laughed, a sound like the ringing of 1,000 tiny bells. "How can I lose what I am?" She asked. "My wealth is not in my bank account. It is in my capacity to dream a new reality into being at any moment. This is the ultimate freedom, the point where you transcend the need to command reality, because you have become one with the creative force that dreams all realities into existence. You are no longer a commander, you are creation itself." The sacred practice of lucid living throughout your day practice. Asking yourself this one question, "Am I dreaming?" Do not answer it with your mind, but feel into the question with your whole being. This question will begin to loosen your attachment to the drama of your life. It will create a space of awareness between you, the dreamer, and the dream you are dreaming. You will start to see the perfection in every moment, the beauty in every challenge, and the love that underlies all of creation. You are not escaping reality. You are awakening to its true nature, a divine and beautiful dream that you are dreaming for the sheer joy of it. Walking as the universe in the bustling heart of the city, a woman named Anja moved with a grace that set her apart. She was not more beautiful or more wealthy than those around her, but she carried herself with a quiet authority that was palpable. It was as if she walked in two worlds at once, her feet on the pavement and her consciousness in the cosmos. This is the state of being that awaits you when you have fully integrated the hidden switch. You no longer see a distinction between your inner world and the outer world. They are a seamless whole, a single unified field of your own consciousness. You do not manifest things. You recognize them as aspects of yourself. The money in your pocket, the love in your heart, the sun in the sky are all expressions of the one life that you are. There is no more seeking, no more striving, no more trying. You have become a walking embodiment of the universe's creative power. A man who had known Anja for years once asked her how she maintained such a state of peace and power amidst the chaos of the city. Anja pointed to a tree growing in a small park, its roots breaking through the concrete to find the earth beneath. "I am like that tree," she said. "I am rooted in the infinite stillness of my own being, while my branches dance in the world of form. My peace does not depend on the world. My peace shapes the world." This is the paradox of the master. They are fully engaged in the world, but not of it. They can play the game of life with skill and joy, but they are never lost in it, because they know their true identity is the formless awareness that is the source of the game itself. This is not an abstract concept, but a lived reality, a state of being where you are in a constant state of communion with the universe. Because you know there is no separation, the sacred practice of the unified field. As you walk through your day, practice seeing the world not as a collection of separate objects, but as a single vibrating field of energy. See the buildings, the people, the cars as different frequencies in a single symphony of your own consciousness. Feel the aliveness in everything you touch. Hear the silence beneath every sound, and see the light that shines through every form. Do this not as a mental exercise, but as a direct perception, a shift in the way you experience reality. As you practice this, you will find your sense of a separate self beginning to dissolve, replaced by a sense of joyful oneness. With all of life, you are not walking through the universe. You are the universe, walking the final command in the silent expanse beyond time and space. The Creator does not issue commands through words or thoughts, but through a single point of focused awareness. This is the ultimate mechanic of reality, the power of pure intention unfiltered by the mind's chatter or the heart's desires. It is the power that holds galaxies in orbit and breathes life into atoms, and it is the same power that resides at the core of your own being. Throughout this journey, you have learned to refine your commands, to clear your beliefs, and to align your emotions. But the final step is to transcend the need for all of these and to rest in the pure, silent command of your own awareness. A master painter named Kyle was known for his ability to create masterpieces. With a single brushstroke, students would ask him how he could convey so much with so little. "I do not paint the painting," he would say. "I simply hold the vision of the finished work in my mind with such clarity that the single stroke is all that is needed to call it forth into the world." Your consciousness works in the same way when your intention is pure and your focus is absolute. A single moment of awareness is enough to command a new reality into being. You do not need to repeat affirmations or visualize for hours. You simply need to touch the point of silent knowing within you where your desire is already a completed fact. This is the source of all miracles, the place where the formless takes on form. A young woman who was born blind had a deep desire to see. She did not pray or plead or visualize. She simply sat in silence each day and held the pure intention of sight, not as a future hope, but as a present reality. She did not know how it would happen. She simply knew that it was so. One day she woke up and her eyes were open, and she could see the doctors had no explanation. But she knew she had simply issued a command from the source of creation and reality, had obeyed the sacred practice of the point of light. Sit in complete darkness or with your eyes closed. Let all thoughts and feelings fall away until you are in a state of pure, silent awareness. Now bring your focus to a single point of light in the center of your being. This point of light is the seed of all creation. It is the source of your power, so place your desire into this point of light, not as a thought or an image, but as a pure frequency, a knowing, then release it. Let the point of light expand to fill the universe. You have issued the final command. There is nothing more to do but to watch as reality rearranges itself to match your silent decree, the eternal now in the great cosmic library, where every moment of all time is recorded. There is a single volume that contains all the others. It is the book of now, the eternal present moment. You have learned to command reality, to shift timelines, and to transmute beliefs. But the ultimate mastery lies in the complete and total immersion in this one moment. A sage who had achieved this state was once visited by a king who was plagued by worries about the future and regrets about the past. "How can I find peace?" the king asked. The sage handed the king a ripe peach taste. "This," he said. The king bit into the fruit, and his senses were flooded with its sweetness, its fragrance, its texture. "Where are your worries now?" the sage asked. The king realized that in the moment of fully experiencing the peach, all his anxieties had vanished. This is the power of the present moment. It is the only place where reality truly exists. The past is a memory, and the future is an imagination. Both are illusions that pull you out of your creative power. When you are fully present, you are fully powerful. You are aligned with the creative force of the universe, which operates only in the now. A young warrior named Kenji was known for his almost supernatural ability in battle. He seemed to anticipate his opponent's moves and respond with perfect timing and precision. His secret was not in his physical skill, but in his mastery of the present moment. In the midst of battle, he would enter a state of no mind, where all thought of past and future dissolved, leaving only the pure awareness of the now. In this state, he was not fighting, he was dancing with the moment, and the moment always guided him to victory. This is the state you must cultivate to become a true master of your reality. You must learn to anchor your awareness so completely in the present moment that the illusions of past and future lose their grip on you. It is in the stillness of the now that you can hear the whispers of the universe, and it is from the power of the now that you can issue your most effective commands. The sacred practice of the anchor point. Choose a physical sensation to be your anchor. To the present moment, it could be the feeling of your breath moving in and out of your body, the sensation of your feet on the ground, or the sound of your own heartbeat throughout your day. Whenever you find your mind drifting into the past or the future, gently bring your attention back to your anchor point. Do not force it or judge yourself. Simply guide your awareness back to the now. Each time you do this, you are strengthening your muscle of presence. You are training yourself to live in the only place where your true power exists. The eternal now, the cosmic laugh in the highest heavens. There is a sound that is rarely heard on earth. It is the sound of the cosmic laugh, the joyful explosion of mirth that occurs when a soul finally awakens to the great joke of existence. The joke is this: you have spent lifetimes searching for a treasure that you were sitting on all along. You have been a king dressed in beggar's clothes, begging for crumbs at the gate of your own palace. You have been a fish in the ocean dying of thirst. The hidden switch you have been so desperately trying to find is the realization of this cosmic joke. It is the moment you stop taking your spiritual search so seriously and you start to laugh at the absurdity of it all. A man who had dedicated his life to spiritual austerities, fasting, meditating for hours, and denying himself all pleasure, was one day visited by a divine messenger. The messenger was not a stern-faced angel, but a laughing child who held a single perfect strawberry. "You have been starving yourself to find God," the child said, giggling. "But God is in the sweetness of this strawberry." The man was about to protest, to speak of his discipline and his sacrifice, but the child's laugh was so infectious that he found himself laughing too, and in that moment of shared laughter all his years of striving fell away, and he tasted the divine sweetness he had been searching for in every cell of his being. The universe is not a serious place. It is a playground, a dance, a joyful expression of the divine's love for itself. The path to enlightenment is not a grim march, but a joyful skip. The masters who have walked this path are not solemn saints, but cosmic comedians who have seen the punchline of the joke and can't stop laughing. This is the final secret you must learn. Do not take your commanding of reality so seriously. Play with it, have fun with it, be a child again. Who knows that the world is a magical place where anything is possible? When you approach manifestation with a sense of playfulness and joy, you align yourself with the highest frequency in the universe, the frequency of love and laughter, the sacred practice of the divine fool. For one entire day, give yourself permission to be a divine fool. Laugh at your mistakes. Sing out loud in public dance when you feel like it, and see the humor in everything. Do not worry about what others will think. You are not performing for them. You are performing for an audience of one, the universe itself. As you play this role of the divine fool, you will find the heavy weight of your spiritual ambition lifting, replaced by a lightness and a freedom you have never known. You will discover that the fastest way to command reality is to stop commanding it and start dancing with it, the universe of you. In the final analysis, the journey ends where it began, within your own being. The universe you have sought to understand, to command, to master, is nothing more and nothing less than a reflection of your own magnificent consciousness. The hidden switch. The principles, the practices have all been pointers guiding you back to the truth that was always present. You are the universe experiencing itself. You are the creator and the creation, the dreamer and the dream. There is no separation, there is no other. There is only the one self playing the infinite game of hide and seek with itself. An old king on his deathbed called his son to his side and gave him a single pearl. "I have searched the world for the secret to happiness and power," he said, "and this is all I have found." The son took the pearl and examined it, but it seemed like an ordinary gem, disappointed. He was about to cast it aside when he noticed a tiny inscription on its surface. He looked closer and read a single word, "You," the prince understood. In that moment, the pearl was a mirror. The secret he was searching for was himself. This is the final revelation. You are the secret. You are the key. You are the hidden switch. Your journey has not been about acquiring a new power, but about remembering the power you have always been. You are not becoming a master. You are awakening to the mastery that is your inherent nature, the sacred practice of the full circle. Sit in quiet meditation and allow your entire journey to flash before your mind's eye, the seeking, the striving, the moments of doubt and the moments of clarity. See it all as a beautiful and necessary part of your awakening. Now see yourself standing at the beginning of the journey, a seeker looking for answers. Then see yourself at the end of the journey, a master who has become the answer. Now merge these two images into one and realize they were never separate. The seeker and the master have always been one and the same. You have simply been on a journey of remembering. Now open your eyes and look at the world around you. See it not as something separate from you, but as an extension of you. The chair you are sitting on is you. The air you are breathing is you. The light you are seeing with is you. There is no separation. There is only the infinite and joyful expression of the one life that you are. Welcome home. Conclusion. The command is issued not with a shout, but with a breath, not through strain, but through stillness. You have journeyed through the veils of illusion. You have dismantled the architecture of lack, and you have stood in the silent chamber of your own sovereignty. You have found the hidden switch, and in doing so, you have discovered that you are the switch, the power and the entire mechanism. The journey does not end here, it begins. The world now becomes your canvas, the laws of reality, your brushes and your consciousness, the paint. You will no longer look to the world for cues on how to feel. You will decide how to feel and watch the world rearrange itself in response. You will no longer ask for permission. You will grant it. Your very being is the green light, the cosmic yes that sets creation in motion. Remember the parables of the masters within these pages, the storyteller who commanded with emotion, the sailor who danced with the sea, the king who ruled from the throne of his own being. These are not just stories, they are aspects of you waiting to be fully lived. You are the alchemist who turns the lead of circumstance into the gold of opportunity. You are the sovereign whose gaze magnifies beauty. And you are the dreamer who has awakened to the truth of their own magnificent dream. Walk now in this new reality, not as one who has learned a secret, but as one who has become a living truth. Let your life be a testament to the power that is unleashed when a soul remembers its own divinity. The universe does not wait for your command. It responds to your presence. Be present, be powerful, be the love and abundance you wish to see in the world. The ripples of your being will transform not only your own life, but the consciousness of all humanity. The final command has been given. It is you. The architecture of belief in the celestial city of 1,000 spires. There lived an architect named Genevieve, renowned for her ability to design structures of breathtaking beauty, yet her own life was a cramped and crumbling edifice beset by financial insecurity and fraught relationships. She could design palaces for others, but lived in a hovel of her own making. This paradox reveals a truth far more fundamental than the laws of physics or the principles of manifestation. Your beliefs are not simply thoughts. You think they are the invisible architecture of your reality. They are the load-bearing walls, the foundational blueprints, and the structural beams upon which your entire life experience is constructed. You cannot build a mansion on the foundation of a shack. No matter how beautifully you decorate the rooms, your conscious mind is the interior designer choosing the colors and textures of your daily thoughts and desires. But your subconscious belief system is the architect, who has already determined the size, shape, and structural integrity of the house itself. This is why so many spiritual practices feel like rearranging furniture on the Titanic. The underlying structure is headed for a collision with the iceberg of your core beliefs, and no amount of positive thinking on the deck can change its course. Genevieve spent her nights poring over ancient texts on sacred geometry, seeking a formula that would bring harmony to her life. She believed an external key, a lost ratio, or a forgotten symbol would solve her inner turmoil. One evening, an old stonemason who had worked on all her grandest projects visited her studio. He watched her draw complex and beautiful designs on parchment. Then he picked up a simple piece of clay and began to shape it in his hands. "You design magnificent temples," he said, his voice rough but kind. "But you forget that the temple is built from the inside out." He then asked her to close her eyes and describe the architecture of her own inner world. At first, Genevieve described the palaces she designed for others, but the old man gently guided her deeper. "What is the shape of your belief about love?" She was forced to admit it was a fortress with high walls and a narrow gate. "What is the foundation of your belief about wealth?" She confessed it was built on shifting sand, the belief that it could vanish at any moment. As she described this inner architecture, she saw for the first time that her external life was a perfect, flawless reflection of it. Her relationships were fortresses hard to enter and easy to leave. Her finances were built on the shifting sands of anxiety. The stonemason had given her the greatest gift, not a new design, but a mirror to her own inner blueprint. From that day forward, Genevieve's work changed. She stopped designing external structures and began the sacred work of renovating her own inner temple. She became an architect of belief, tearing down the walls of fear and laying new foundations of trust and worthiness. And as her inner world transformed from a hovel to a palace, her outer world effortlessly followed suit. The sacred practice of the belief scaffolding. Sit in a quiet space and take out your journal. Draw a simple outline of a house. Now, in different parts of the house, write down your core beliefs about the key areas of your life. In the foundation, write your beliefs about your own worthiness and safety. In the walls, write your beliefs about relationships. In the roof, write your beliefs about your connection to the divine or the universe. Do not judge what you write, simply observe the current architecture of your reality. Now take a new page and design your inner palace. What are the new beliefs that will form its unshakable foundation, its welcoming walls, its expansive roof? Draw this new blueprint with love and intention. This is the true work of the Master Creator, the conscious and deliberate architecture of your own soul. The resonance of place in a valley where the wind whispered ancient secrets lived. A woman named Lyra, who was a master weaver. Her tapestries were known for their vibrant colors and intricate designs, yet she found herself unable to sell them. She lived in a small, dark cottage at the edge of the village, a place that had been in her family for generations, a place heavy with the energy of struggle and disappointment. You are not just a being of energy. You are a being in a field of energy. The places you inhabit, your home, your workplace, your community, are not neutral backdrops. They are living, resonant fields that constantly interact with your own. Your environment can either amplify your commanded reality or create a powerful and persistent resistance to it. Every object in your home, every color on your walls, every sound that fills your space holds a specific frequency. This cumulative frequency creates a resonance that is either in harmony or in discord with the abundance you wish to create. You can be broadcasting the frequency of wealth with all your might, but if you are living in a home that resonates with the frequency of lack and clutter, it is like trying to listen to a beautiful symphony in the middle of a noisy factory. The environmental static can drown out your signal. Lyra's friend, a woman who understood the principles of resonance, visited her. One day she did not look at Lyra's tapestries. She looked at the cottage, the dim light, the dusty corners, the air thick with the memory of hardship. "Your art is a song of beauty," she said, "but your home is a song of sorrow. The two songs are canceling each other out." Lyra was at first defensive. Her cottage was all she had, but her friend's words planted a seed. That night Lyra had a dream in which her tapestries were hanging in a bright, airy space filled with sunlight and laughter. The colors in the dream were so much more vibrant than they were in her dim cottage upon waking. She knew what she had to do. She did not have the money to move, but she began to transform her space. She opened the shutters to let in the light. She cleared away generations of clutter. She filled the cottage with fresh flowers and the scent of citrus. She began to treat her small home not as a place of lack, but as a temple of beauty, a space worthy of her magnificent art. As she shifted the resonance of her home, something miraculous happened. A wealthy merchant who was passing through the village felt an inexplicable pull to her cottage. He stepped inside and was so enchanted by the feeling of the space and the way the light illuminated her tapestries that he bought every single one on the spot. Lyra had not changed her art, she had changed the container in which it was held, creating a resonant field that was in perfect harmony with the success she desired. The sacred practice of environmental attunement. Choose one room in your home to be your sanctuary of abundance. Stand in the center of the room and feel its current energetic signature. What is the dominant frequency? Is it one of joy and expansion, or one of stagnation and contraction? Now begin the process of attunement. Remove anything that does not resonate with the feeling of abundance. Anything that is broken, cluttered, or associated with negative memories. Introduce elements that do resonate with your desire: sunlight, living plants, beautiful objects, and inspiring art. As you make each change, feel the energetic signature of the room beginning to shift. Align it with the frequency of your commanded reality, until walking into that room feels like stepping directly into your fulfilled desire. The sacred wound. In a land of pristine crystals and flawless gems lived a jeweler named Kyle, who was known for his technical perfection. Yet his creations, though flawless, felt cold and lifeless. They lacked the fire that stirred the soul. He worked only with the most perfect stones, discarding any that had the slightest crack or inclusion, for he believed that perfection was the highest ideal. This belief in perfection is a subtle but powerful trap. It is the ego's attempt to create a reality free from the messiness of life, free from the very wounds that are the portals to your deepest power, your greatest wound. The part of you that you have hidden, judged, or tried to fix is not an obstacle to your divinity. It is the very place where your divinity enters. Your greatest pain is a sacred doorway to your greatest strength. A young apprentice who worked for Kyle had a different approach. He would search for the discarded stones, the ones with cracks and flaws. He would not try to hide these imperfections. He would highlight them. He would fill the cracks with molten gold and polish the inclusions until they shone like captured stars. His creations were not perfect, but they were breathtakingly alive. They told a story of brokenness and healing, of darkness and light. They held a power that Kyle's flawless gems could never possess. The universe does not seek your perfection. It seeks your wholeness. It is through your cracks that the light gets in. Your sacred wound is the unique frequency that only you can broadcast to the world. It is the source of your compassion, your wisdom, and your authentic power. When you try to hide or heal your wound, in the sense of erasing it, you are cutting yourself off from your greatest gift. A man who had been abandoned as a child spent his life trying to prove his worthiness, trying to build a fortress of success that would protect him from ever being abandoned again. Yet he always felt an emptiness, a sense of being an imposter. One day, in a moment of deep surrender, he stopped running from the pain of his abandonment and instead turned to face it. He felt the terror, the grief, the loneliness of the small child within him. But this time he did not try to fix it. He simply held that wounded child with love and compassion. In that moment of radical self-acceptance, something shifted. The wound became a source of profound empathy. He started a foundation for abandoned children, and his work touched millions of lives. His greatest pain had become his greatest purpose. He had transmuted his sacred wound into a gift for the world. The sacred practice of the golden scar. Sit in quiet meditation and bring to mind the wound that you have carried for so long, the part of yourself you have judged or hidden. Do not resist the pain that may arise. Simply breathe into it with love and acceptance. Now visualize a stream of liquid golden light flowing into this wound. Feel it not as a healing that erases the scar, but as a precious metal that illuminates it, transforming it from a source of shame into a mark of beauty and strength. See yourself standing in your full power, not in spite of your wound, but because of it. Your wound is now a golden scar, a testament to your resilience and a beacon of light for others who are still lost in the darkness. The quantum echo in the city of echoes, a place where sounds never truly faded, but lingered in the air for centuries. A musician named Marcus struggled to compose a new symphony. He felt a creative block, a sense of emptiness where inspiration once flowed. One night, as he sat in the moonlit silence of his studio, he began to hear a faint melody, a theme of such profound beauty and power that it seemed to come not from his own mind, but from the future itself. At first he dismissed it as a dream, but the melody persisted, growing stronger and clearer. Each night it was as if his own future self, the master composer he was destined to become, was sending back an echo of his greatest work to guide him through his present struggle. This experience reveals a mind-bending truth of quantum reality. Time is not a one-way street. The past, present, and future are not fixed points on a linear timeline, but are fluid and interconnected states of consciousness that are constantly influencing each other. You are not just creating your future, you are also being created by it, your highest future self. The fully realized sovereign being who has already achieved all that you desire is not a distant potential. It is a living reality that is constantly broadcasting its frequency back to you through the corridors of time. This is the quantum echo, the whispers of guidance, the flashes of intuition, the inexplicable urges that seem to pull you toward your destiny. These are not random events. They are messages from the you that has already arrived, sent to help you navigate the journey. The hidden switch is not just about commanding your present reality. It is about opening yourself to receive the commands of your future reality. A young inventor named Clara was working on a device that could harness free energy. She had reached a dead end in her research, unable to solve a complex equation that was crucial to her design. One night she had a vivid dream in which she was standing in her future laboratory, a successful and celebrated inventor. In the dream, her future self walked over to a chalkboard and wrote down the completed equation. Upon waking, Clara remembered the equation perfectly. She rushed to her lab, tried it, and it worked. She had not solved the problem in the present. She had received the solution from the future. The sacred practice of the future self, dialogue. Find a quiet space and enter a state of deep meditation. Visualize yourself walking down a long corridor of light. At the end of the corridor is a door marked with the symbol of your highest self. Open the door and step into the reality of your fulfilled destiny. Your future self is there waiting for you. They greet you with love and wisdom. You may ask them for guidance, for clarity, or for the solution to a problem you are facing. Listen not just with your ears, but with your whole being. For the answer may come as words, images, feelings, or a simple knowing. When the dialogue feels complete, thank your future self and walk back down the corridor, bringing their wisdom and their vibrational frequency back with you into your present moment. You have just collapsed time and received a direct transmission from the Master. You are becoming the velocity of trust on the high plains of an ancient land. Two travelers sought to cross a great chasm to reach the legendary city of light. The first traveler, a cautious and meticulous man named Samuel, found a bridge made of woven ropes and wooden planks. He tested each plank before placing his weight on it. He checked each knot, and he moved with agonizing slowness. His journey was filled with fear and anxiety, and it took him many days to cross. The second traveler, a woman named Elia, who walked with a light and joyful step, found no visible bridge at all. Yet she did not hesitate. She knew that the city of light could only be reached by those who possessed unwavering trust. She took a step out into the empty air, and as her foot came down, a bridge of pure crystalline light materialized beneath it. With each confident step, the bridge appeared before her, and she crossed the vast chasm in a matter of moments, laughing with the joy of her own faith. This parable illustrates a fundamental law of creation. The velocity of your manifestation is directly proportional to the depth of your trust. Doubt is a form of energetic friction. It slows down the creative process, creating delays and obstacles that would not otherwise exist. Trust is a state of energetic flow. It is a lubricant that allows the universe to deliver your desires with breathtaking speed and grace. You have been taught to be realistic, to prepare for the worst, and to not get your hopes up. This is the programming of a consciousness rooted in fear. It is the mindset of Samuel on the rickety bridge, a mindset that creates a reality of struggle and delay. The universe is not a treacherous landscape that you must navigate with caution. It is a loving and intelligent field that responds to the quality of your own consciousness. When you trust it completely, it will support you in miraculous ways. A young entrepreneur named David was launching a new company. He needed a significant amount of capital to get started, but he had been rejected by every bank and investor. He approached his advisors, told him to give up, to be realistic. But David held an unwavering trust in his vision. Every morning he would wake up and feel the gratitude for the funding that he knew was on its way. He did not know how it would come, but he trusted that it would. One day, a complete stranger approached him in a coffee shop. The man had overheard David talking about his company and felt an inexplicable urge to invest. He wrote David a check for the full amount on the spot. David's friends called it a miracle, but David knew it was the natural result of the velocity of his trust. His unwavering faith had created a reality where the impossible became possible. The sacred practice of the trust. Fall with the universe. Stand in a safe and comfortable space. Close your eyes and bring to mind a desire that has been slow to manifest. Feel the doubt and the fear that you have been holding around it. Now consciously release that doubt and choose to trust. Say aloud, universe, I trust you. I know you are bringing this to me in the perfect way and at the perfect time. I let go and I let you lead. Now allow yourself to fall backward, knowing that you will be caught. Do this physically if you have a trusted person with you, or do it energetically in your mind. Feel the invisible arms of the universe catching you, supporting you, holding you. In perfect safety, practice this trust fall whenever doubt creeps in. It is a powerful somatic reminder that you are always supported, and that the speed of your journey is determined not by your effort, but by your surrender. The divine conspiracy. In a kingdom where shadows seem to lurk in every corner, lived a merchant named Gregory who saw the world as a dangerous and unpredictable place. He believed that life was a series of random events, a chaotic mix of good luck and bad luck. He spent his days trying to outwit fate, hoarding his resources and trusting no one. His life was a fortress built to protect him from a hostile world. This is the reality that most people inhabit, a world of apparent chaos where they feel like victims of circumstance. They see setbacks as failures and challenges as punishments. They do not perceive the hidden order, the divine intelligence that is orchestrating every event for their ultimate evolution. The hidden switch is the profound shift in perception from seeing reality as a series of random events to recognizing it as a divine conspiracy. a benevolent and intricate plot designed to awaken you to your own power in this commanded reality. There are no accidents, there are no mistakes. Every event, no matter how it appears on the surface, is a perfectly orchestrated part of your journey of remembrance. The business that fails is a lesson in detachment. The relationship that ends is a clearing for a deeper love to enter. The illness that strikes is an invitation to heal on a soul level. A young woman named Isabel was on a journey to a sacred shrine when her carriage broke down in the middle of a dense forest. She was stranded alone and afraid. At first she cursed her bad luck, but then she remembered a teaching she had received, that all things work together for good. She decided to trust that this apparent disaster was part of a divine plan. She left the carriage and began to walk deeper into the forest. After a short time, she came upon a hidden spring of healing water, a legendary spring that many had searched for, but few had found. The water not only quenched her thirst, but also healed a chronic ailment she had suffered from for years. She realized that the broken carriage was not a setback. It was a divine redirection, a benevolent conspiracy to lead her to a greater blessing than the one she had been seeking. This is the lens through which a master of reality views the world. They know that the universe is always conspiring in their favor, even when it doesn't look like it. They do not resist the challenges, they look for the hidden gift within them. They do not mourn their losses. They celebrate the space that has been cleared for something new. To arrive, the sacred practice of the reframing alchemy. Take a current challenge in your life, a situation that appears to be a problem or a setback. Write it down in your journal now. Ask this question: if this were a divine conspiracy for my highest good, what would its purpose be? How is this situation serving my evolution? What gift is hidden within this challenge? Let your pen flow freely, allowing a new perspective to emerge. Reframe the story from one of victimhood to one of divine orchestration. Feel the shift in your energy as you recognize the benevolent intelligence that is always at work in your life. You are not a pawn in a random game. You are the beloved protagonist in a divine conspiracy of your own, awakening the language of the body. In the hallowed halls of a medical school, a brilliant young doctor named Alana prided herself on her diagnostic skills. She could analyze symptoms, read charts, and interpret lab results with unparalleled precision, yet she was often baffled by patients whose bodies refused to heal. Despite the perfect application of medical science, she saw the body as a machine, a complex biological mechanism to be fixed and controlled. What she had not yet learned was that the body is not a machine. It is a living oracle, a vessel of profound intelligence that is constantly speaking a language far older and wiser than the language of the mind. Your body is the ultimate subconscious mind. It is the physical printout of your deepest beliefs, your unresolved emotions, and your energetic patterns. Every ache, every illness, every physical sensation is a message, a piece of feedback from your soul. It is telling you where your energy is blocked, where you are out of alignment, and where you need to bring your conscious attention. You can ignore these messages. You can try to suppress them with medication or distract yourself with activity, but the body will only speak louder until you are willing to listen. A dancer named Kenna had a chronic pain in her right shoulder that no doctor could diagnose or treat. It was limiting her career and filling her with frustration. One day, she worked with a somatic therapist who did not ask about her symptoms, but instead asked the shoulder itself to speak through movement. As Kenna allowed her body to move freely, without conscious direction, her right arm began to make a pushing away gesture over and over again. Suddenly, a memory surfaced from her childhood, a time when she had pushed her younger sister away, in a moment of anger, an act for which she had never forgiven herself. The unresolved guilt had been stored in her shoulder for decades, creating the physical pain. As she allowed herself to feel the grief and release the guilt, the pain in her shoulder dissolved instantly and never returned. Her body had not been broken. It had been holding a story waiting for her to listen. This is the power that lies within your own physical form. It is a flawless and incorruptible barometer of your inner state. It will never lie to you when you feel expansive and joyful. Your body is telling you that you are in alignment. When you feel contracted and tense, your body is telling you that you are in resistance. The hidden switch is the shift from treating your body as a machine to be controlled, to honoring it as a sacred oracle. To be consulted, the sacred practice of the somatic oracle. Sit in a quiet space and bring your awareness into your body. Scan your physical form from head to toe, noticing any areas of tension, discomfort, or numbness. Choose one of these areas and place your hand on it. Breathe into this part of your body with love and curiosity. Now ask it a simple question. What message do you have for me? Do not look for an answer in your mind. Instead, listen for the language of the body. The answer may come as an image, a memory, a feeling, or a simple inner knowing. Trust what arises. Your body holds a wisdom that your mind cannot access, and it is always guiding you toward wholeness and your commanded reality. The void of creation in the heart of the cosmos. Before the first star was born, there was only the void, a silent and infinite expanse of pure potential. It was not an emptiness of lack, but an emptiness of unlimited possibility. It was from this sacred stillness, this divine nothingness, that all of creation emerged. You have been taught that to create, you must do that. You must think, visualize, and act. But the greatest masters of reality know a deeper truth. The most powerful creation comes not from doing, but from undoing, not from filling the space, but from entering the void. The void is the womb of the universe, the silent source from which all form arises. When you learn to access this state within yourself, you tap into the ultimate creative power, a power that does not need to strive because it is the source of all things. A painter named Silas was known for his vibrant and powerful canvases, but he had fallen into a creative desert. His mind was filled with ideas, but his canvases remained blank and lifeless. The more he tried to force a new creation, the more empty he felt. One day, in desperation, he abandoned his studio and went to sit in an empty and silent cave. He did not meditate, he did not pray, he simply sat in the darkness and the stillness. For days he sat doing nothing, thinking nothing, becoming nothing, and then something happened in the depths of that profound emptiness. A single point of light appeared in his inner vision. It was a color he had never seen before, a hue that contained all colors within it. The point of light began to expand, and from it emerged images of such beauty and complexity that they surpassed anything his conscious mind could have conceived. He had not found his new creation in the world of form. He had received it from the void of creation itself. This is the state that you must learn to enter, to become a true master, the state of no mind, no self, no desire. It is a state of complete surrender to the infinite potential that lies beyond the boundaries of your egoic self. Most people are afraid of the void. They fill their lives with noise and activity to avoid the silence and the stillness. But it is in that silence and stillness that the voice of the universe can be heard, and the blueprint of your highest reality can be received. The hidden switch is the courage to let go of everything you think you know, and to step into the mystery of the unknown. It is the trust that in the nothingness you will find everything, the sacred practice of the sacred emptiness. Find a time and a place where you can be in complete silence, and if possible, darkness. Sit or lie down and simply let go. Let go of your thoughts, your desires, your identity. Let go of your need to control, to understand, to become anything at all. Just be empty, a vessel waiting to be filled. Do not expect anything to happen. The goal is not to have an experience, but to be the experience of emptiness. Stay in this state for as long as you can, even if it is just for a few minutes at first. As you practice this, you will begin to feel a sense of peace and power that is unlike anything you have ever known. You will be touching the source of all creation. And from this source, your commanded reality will emerge, not as something you have made, but as something you have allowed, the ripple of command in the center of a perfectly still and silent lake. A single lotus blossom opened its petals. It did not make a sound. It did not create a wave. Yet the fragrance of its blooming spread across the entire lake, subtly changing the quality of the air and the water, touching everything with its beauty. This is the nature of a command issued from a state of mastery. It is not a loud and forceful act, but a silent and subtle shift in consciousness that creates a ripple effect throughout the entire universe. You are more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Your inner state is not a private experience. It is a vibration that you are constantly broadcasting to the cosmos, a signal that is received and responded to by every atom in existence. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are a co-creator of the ocean itself. A man who had achieved a deep state of inner peace decided to conduct an experiment, and he went to a public park that was known for its noisy and chaotic energy. He did not speak to anyone or do anything. He simply sat on a bench and held his state of peace. He became the lotus blossom in the middle of the chaotic lake. At first, nothing seemed to change, but as he continued to hold his frequency, he noticed a subtle shift. The arguing couple on the bench next to him fell silent. The screaming children began to play more quietly. The frantic energy of the park began to settle into a more harmonious rhythm. He had not tried to change anyone or anything. He had simply changed the resonant field of the park by holding a state of peace. Within himself, this is the responsibility and the gift of becoming a sovereign of your reality. Your commanded reality is not just for your own benefit. It is a service to the world. Every time you choose peace over conflict, you are contributing to the peace of the world. Every time you embody abundance, you are making it easier for others to do the same. You are a tuning fork, and when you vibrate at a high frequency, you naturally cause other tuning forks in your vicinity to vibrate in harmony with you. A woman who had healed herself from a deep-seated feeling of unworthiness found that her relationships began to transform. Her friends became more loving, her family more supportive, and her colleagues more respectful. She had not tried to change any of them. She had simply changed the command she was issuing to the universe about her own worth, and everyone in her reality had to shift. To match that new command, the sacred practice of the conscious ripple, choose one quality that you wish to see more of in the world: peace, love, joy, or abundance. Now, instead of trying to create this quality in the outside world, cultivate it within yourself. Find a quiet place and feel this quality in every cell of your body. Let it become your dominant vibration now with your intention. Send this vibration out from your heart as a gift to the world. Do not direct it to any specific person or situation. Simply offer it to the collective field of consciousness. Trust that the ripple of your command will touch those who are ready to receive it, creating a more beautiful and harmonious world for all the great unbecoming. In the final stages of a sculptor's work, he does not add more clay. He takes it away. He refines. He polishes. He removes everything that is not the masterpiece. This is the final journey of the master of reality, a journey not of becoming more, but of unbecoming. Everything that you are not, you have spent your life accumulating beliefs, identities, and stories like layers of clothing. You have defined yourself by your past, your accomplishments, your failures, and your relationships. But none of these are who you truly are. They are the stone that surrounds the statue of your true self, your divine essence. The hidden switch in its ultimate expression is the realization that you do not need to create your perfect self. You need to uncover it. Your work is not to become worthy, but to unbecoming the belief that you are unworthy. Your work is not to become abundant, but to unbecoming the patterns of lack that obscure the infinite abundance that is your birthright. A woman who had reached the pinnacle of her career had achieved all the success and wealth she had ever dreamed of, found herself feeling empty and unfulfilled. She had climbed to the top of the mountain, only to find that the view was not what she expected. In her despair, she went to live with a spiritual master in a remote hermitage. She expected the master to give her new practices, new teachings, new things to add to her already full life. But the master's only instruction was to let go. Let go of your identity as a successful woman. Let go of your attachment to your wealth. Let go of your stories about your past and your future. Let go of everything you think you know about yourself. The process was terrifying at first. She felt as if she were dissolving into nothingness. But as she continued to let go, she began to feel a new sense of freedom and joy. She discovered that beneath all the layers of her acquired self was a radiant and peaceful being that needed nothing to be complete. She had not found a new self. She had unveiled the one that had been there all along. This is the great unbecoming, the final and most liberating stage of your evolution. It is the understanding that you are not the character in the play of your life. You are the silent awareness that is watching the play. And in that awareness is a peace and a power that is beyond all understanding. The sacred practice of the unbecoming declaration. Each morning stand before a mirror and look into your own eyes. Speak these words with gentle authority. Today I unbecome everything that is not my true self. I release the stories, the labels, the limitations. I allow the magnificent being that I am to shine through in all its glory. Then go about your day with a sense of lightness and freedom. When you find yourself falling into old patterns of thought or behavior, simply smile and say to yourself, that is not who I am anymore. You are the sculptor of your own being, and with each act of unbecoming, you are revealing the masterpiece that was always there, waiting to be discovered, the gate of no return. In the heart of an ancient and forgotten land, there was a gate that was said to lead to the realm of the gods. It was not made of gold or jewels, but of a shimmering substance that seemed to be woven from light itself. Those who passed through this gate could never return to the world of ordinary mortals, for their very perception of reality was irrevocably changed. They did not become gods. They simply remembered that they had been gods all along, playing a game of being human. This gate is not a physical place. It is a state of consciousness, a point of no return. In your own evolution, it is the moment when the hidden switch is not just a tool you use, but the very fabric of your being. You have journeyed through the realms of belief, emotion, and perception. You have learned the mechanics of command and the art of surrender, and now you stand at the final threshold. The gate of no return. Passing through this gate requires one final act, the complete and total surrender of your personal self, your ego, your story to the infinite intelligence of the universe. It is the ultimate trust fall, the final letting go. A man who had walked the spiritual path for his entire life came to this gate. He had mastered every technique and understood every principle. Yet he hesitated before the shimmering portal he was afraid of. What he would lose, his memories, his accomplishments, his very sense of who he was. As he stood there paralyzed by fear, a being of light appeared before him. It was his own higher self, his divine essence. Do not be afraid, the being said, for you can lose nothing that is real. You can only lose the illusion of who you thought you were. Emboldened by these words, the man took a deep breath and stepped through the gate. In an instant, his entire world dissolved. The boundaries of his body vanished. His thoughts fell silent, and his sense of a separate self was replaced by a boundless and ecstatic oneness. With all that is, he had not died, he had awakened. He discovered that the reality he had been trying to command was but a shadow of the true reality that awaited him on the other side of the gate. This is the destiny that awaits you, the ultimate fulfillment of your journey. It is not something you can force or achieve through effort. It is a grace that descends when you are finally ready to let go of everything you are clinging to. It is the universe's final gift to you, the gift of yourself, the sacred practice of the final surrender. Find a time when you will be completely undisturbed for at least an hour. Lie down in a comfortable position and close your eyes. Begin by consciously releasing every aspect of your personal self. Release your name, your body, your memories, your desires. Release your hopes and your fears. Release your spiritual accomplishments and your failures. Let it all go, like sand slipping through your fingers. Now feel yourself standing before the gate of no return. It is shimmering with a light that is both beautiful and terrifying. Know that passing through it means the end of the you that you have known. Take a deep breath and with your full intention step through the gate. Do not expect anything. Do not try to have an experience. Simply surrender to whatever happens. You are stepping out of the dream and into the reality of your own infinite and eternal being. The symphony of silence beyond the command, beyond the dreamer, beyond the universe itself. There is only silence. It is not an empty silence, but a silence that is pregnant with all of creation. It is the canvas upon which the masterpiece of existence is painted, the stillness from which all movement arises. This is the final resting place of the master, the heart of the divine. In this silence there is no need to command, for you are one with the power that commands all things. There is no need to manifest, for you are one with the source of all manifestation. There is no need to seek, for you have become the one who is sought. A musician who had achieved this state of consciousness was once asked to perform for the king. He walked onto the stage, sat at his instrument, and did nothing. He simply sat in silence for a full hour. The king and his court were at first confused, then angry, but as the silence deepened, a profound peace began to settle over the hall. In that silence, they heard a music more beautiful than any they had ever heard before, a music that was not made of sound, but of pure being. At the end of the hour, the musician stood and bowed. The king rushed to the stage and asked, "What was that magnificent symphony you played?" The musician smiled and said, "It was the symphony of silence. It is the music that is always playing when we are quiet enough to hear it. This is the final destination of your journey, the return to the silence from which you came. It is not an end, but a beginning, a new way of being in the world, where you create not through action, but through presence, not through sound, but through silence. Your life becomes a living symphony of silence, a testament to the power and the peace that lies at the heart of all things, the sacred practice of the listening heart. Find a quiet place and simply listen. Listen not with your ears, but with your heart. Listen to the silence beneath the sounds. Listen to the stillness beneath the movement. Listen to the peace that is always present beneath the chaos of the world. Do not try to achieve anything. Do not look for an experience. Simply rest in the listening. In this sacred listening, you will hear the voice of the universe whispering its deepest secrets to you. You will hear the song of your own soul, and you will know without a shadow of a doubt that you have come home.